Hey, this is JR, the TechSpat OTG, and this is time for the old guys talking shit. Number 9. Well, Jeff, I had a friend of mine from the U.S. that I was talking to last night, and they were thinking about moving to Mexico to retire or thinking about over here. The thing that was kind of pushing them in this direction was the fact that they've been reading a lot about old guys over here with really young girls. So what do you think? Are they on the right track?
If that's their only reason to come here is for the young girls, that would be a mistake. It's like when you buy a house. You look at it's a brand new house, awesome. Real estate agent told me one time, when you look at a house, imagine this house 30 years from now. Are you still going to be happy with this house, with the neighborhood? Coming for young girls, just remember, those girls, they grow up.
Well, I think, he was headed toward South America, so the idea of living in a developing country, I guess you'd say, that was not the issue at all. But in some countries, if there's 5 or 10 years difference in their age, that's considered quite a lot, or it's normal. Maybe 5 years or 8 years is normal. Philippines, that's not the case.
That's true. Right now, I hear a lot of stuff in the news about stuff that's going on in Mexico, where the cartels kill off a couple of people or even up to a dozen people at a time and just throw them in a ditch. That doesn't really engender a whole lot of trust for me.
We don't really have that around here. We're not talking about the difference in the safety and all that of retiring here versus retiring in Mexico.
Okay.
We're talking about young girls. I think my friend was more interested in the age of the girls he could find here and not really the environment, because he's used to his ex-wife is from South America.
Right.
And he doesn't really have the issue with living in that kind of a developing country. He understands the concept and the reality of that.
Well, I guess first thing he needs to consider is young girls grow up. If you get a really young girl, she's going to have a lot of young girl ideas. How well is he going to cope with that? Mm-hmm. She will grow up, yes. He may grow into loving this girl, but it's going to take some time for that to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a few years.
Well, one of the things that he was asking was, just how do they go about meeting over here, online dating?
I guess nowadays, online dating, there's a lot of websites, some that are strictly for Filipinas to meet foreigners. And I've heard of guys, they've gone out to Jollibee and they met up a cute cashier there, and turns out she didn't have a boyfriend and they ended up being an item.
Well, I met mine the old-fashioned way. I met her online, and Rhea, we've been together now for 15 years, I guess. But the age difference, if I were in the U.S., the age difference would be more than the actors and actresses that you see in Hollywood. They get in the news when they've got 10 years age difference, and I think Rhea and I's age difference is even 40 years. In the U.S., people would either be making fun of us or talking about, oh, that girl's going out with that old man, things like that. They wouldn't understand. I don't think we'd be, you're welcome in the neighborhood, as it were.
That's a good point. We've talked about that before. Whereas here, it seems to be fairly well accepted.
You hear that age is just a number a lot.
Yeah, well, that's what the girls always say anyway. I think even the families, they're very accepting of an older foreigner because they know that you know, he's going to be taking care of her, and indirectly, that means he'll be taking care of them to some extent as well. This is a little bit off topic maybe, but when I met my wife, one of the things I wanted for her was a good future. And that meant probably finishing her high school. And that's one of the first things that we worked on. Now, has she used her high school degree for anything? No, but at least it helped to pave the way for her if she wanted to do something. But at least it gave her something to identify, some objective that she was able to achieve. And I think that's important. Not that you want to meet somebody and you want to change them, but rather that you want to help them to achieve some goals.
What about the guys that you see up here, they just, get off the plane and first thing you know, they're just in the girly bars looking for the young girls there. To me, it seems like kind of a dead-end thing. I don't know. I never met my girl that way.
I guess that's a valid point. The girls that are in the bars, if you talk to a lot of them, for most of them, they're there because they're hoping to meet a foreigner. So chances of successfully pairing off with someone in the bar is probably pretty good.
Yeah, when I would hang around the bars and stuff, I'd see that a lot. And actually, you'd see guys coming in with their girlfriends that were young, and you see other guys in there looking to meet up with the waitresses or something like that. Of course, I didn't spend much time in bar life here, not really interested in it. And of course, after I met Rhea, we settled in together. That was it. I was kind of locked in. The thing that still worries me though is like, the difference that you see, like on TV, you see a movie star, and he finds a girl that's 15 years younger, and then it's all over the news. Or a politician or a sports guy, he's in his 40, 45, and he's with a girl that's 25. Well, I was quite a bit older than Rhea, And in the U.S., I don't think they'd even accept that. I think people would be, nose up about that.
That's true. That's true.
Your wife is a little bit younger than you.
Yeah.
How many years younger?
30.
30 years, and mine's 40.
Yeah. Yeah. Her mother is about 12 years younger than me.
That doesn't exactly fit the American model or the Canadian model either, I think.
No, it doesn't. One thing about advantage that we have is that we tend to age better than the Asian population. White men tend to, actually, according to my wife anyway, we tend to get more handsomer as we mature.
Well, in my case, I think that'd be wishful thinking. I don't think I've gotten handsomer or more handsome. When I met Ray, I still looked pretty good. That was quite a while ago, 15 years ago. And I still have all my hair, so that's probably a good thing too, I guess. But I don't know. I'm not sure why she found me attractive, or if she did even find me attractive. I found her real attractive, and it didn't take us long to really have a nice relationship. Have the ability to talk together and things like that. It took a while. Communications is still tough. We're not the easiest in the world. I think even though she's an English speaker, it's not that easy to communicate.
Probably part of that's cultural though too. And in any relationship where that crosses cultural lines, especially as extreme as North American to Asian. I mean, if you cross a cultural line from North American to European, for instance, there's really not that much of a swing. But Asian culture is extremely different. So that can create, somewhat of a learning curve.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there.
Yeah, especially, and that works both ways. I mean, there is still things that my wife accepts as being the norm and standard, and I still struggle with.
Yeah. I'm just glad I'm not having to move back to the U.S. With Rhea. That's probably good. I don't have any family over there or anything, and I don't think that if I did have family, that they'd be real accepting.
Well, I think you find that there's a lot of girls, they meet a fellow, and first thing they want to do is go to your country. There is a warning flag.
I would
Because
think so, yeah.
many Filipinos that I've met, you talk to them about going on a vacation, maybe going to see my country, and it's like, yeah, maybe someday. They're not in a hurry. If you're talking Canada, it's cold. And they keep telling them, no, actually, it gets hotter in Canada than it does here sometimes. So
Yeah, it does get hot up there. I've been in places where the mosquitoes would carry you off, and there's ferns and things growing in Canada. Kind of looks bizarre, but yeah, that's true. I think that a red flag, if you're over here and you meet a girl and the first thing she wants to do is go back to your home country, I think that's a red flag.
they don't seem to realize how expensive it is to live there. One of the reasons why a lot of us come here to retire is because we can survive on our pension here. In Canada, for instance, my pension would be enough maybe to pay the rent, and that's about it, not enough to eat.
That's the thing about living in the States. I had a pretty good business and a good steady income and decent income. Gosh, now compared to what it was 15 or 20 years ago when I moved out of the state. I moved out when I was 65, and that was over 20 years ago. What it would cost now to live there, I don't think that I could do. I'd have to be working and running a business or working, doing something, because I can see that the cost of living has probably gone up 20, 25, maybe 30% since I left. You're darn sure not going to do it on your Social Security. And, I've got that, plus I've got pensions and savings and stuff like that. And I just didn't want the cost of living in the U.S. to eat up all my savings, because your savings is your security. Once you get over the age where you can work and you have to live on investments or something like that, it's pretty darn difficult to live. And I certainly know that your wife from over here is not going to understand.
Yeah.
The first thing they're going to do when they get over there, they're going to find the Philippine grocery store and trade ideas with all the local Philippine girls, and that's not going to go well for you either.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think, like I say, red flag. They want to stay here. That should be a given. Go over there and visit, maybe someday. But right now, we want a life here.
Right. When Ray and I plan trips, we plan trips in Asia. We don't really plan trips where we're going to go west. I might like to go to Europe sometime and take Rhea there, but I don't want to take her back to the United States or to Canada. I like Canada too, but I think she'd find it too cold.
Or too hot, depending on the time of year.
Depends on when you get there. I'd like to be able to enlighten my friend a little bit about the difference in being in a developing country in the Americas and being in a developing country here. It's a big difference. There's a cultural difference, even, though you're in the same kind of economic zone, there's still a cultural difference that is a lot different than it is, for instance, in South America.
Right, you're right.
So I wanted them to be aware of that. But I think that if a guy comes over here and his intentions are to have fun, or his intentions are to find a long-term relationship, I think he can do well. I think, and I think it's not going to be that hard to find somebody. But you have to use good sense about it, just like you would if you were in the U.S. and you were going to meet an American girl. You have to have good sense about what you do and what the relationship and what you expect from a relationship and how it's all going to work out in the long term.
If you're out just looking for a playmate, probably better just to not put down roots. If you're thinking about long term, well, then that helps you to open both eyes to look at the situation, to be able to understand, is this the one, is this person fit what I am looking for?
Yeah, one of the big differences that Westerners are going to find when they get to Philippines is the way that the family functions. It's family first here, you know, and if you meet a girl, you're going to have to help some with the family, and you're going to definitely have to socialize with them and things like that. It's just part of life here, and your girl's not going to stay with you if you don't engage the family too.
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty much a fact. Family first, your relationship is going to be second. That's what I figure anyway. Well, hey, I think probably we ought to move on. Don't have a lot of time today. I'm waiting for Rhea to get back with our tribe. She's off visiting one of her girlfriends, and we're going to do some things later, but I think now would be a good time for us just to walk over to Walter Mart and hang out for a while in the aircon, do a little walking. I want to go to Ace Hardware and some places that make me feel at home.
Okay, and
So-
did we tell them where we are now?
No, we didn't. We're back at the Hungry Travelers. A great little place, and we'll put a plug in for them in the description below the video in case you happen to be visiting here in Subic area. You stop by here, it's really nice, and you can also pick up a few things you need around the house, like beer. It's a good.
And if you're thirsty, happy hours from 1 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
And the food is really good, and the prices for to eat are really reasonable. And this is JR, the Texpat OTG.
And I'm Jeff, the Crazy Canuck.
All we were gonna say is thank y'all for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye.